guest artist has gained international stardom by performing on cruise ships all over the world. We've all heard his jokes before, many times, but his rhymes are second to none. I give you our very own Pam Ayres, Mr. Bernard Smith.
Thank you very much, Carol, for that. And I'd like to thank Roger for the poster on the way in. I've just cancelled the windows. I would just like to say I feel very honoured at being asked to speak on this very special day for our club, because I feel there are many more people here more deserving than I am. However, for any club to survive 40 years, it has to keep providing what its members want. And this club has always ticked every box. When I was asked to speak on this occasion, it was a dilemma as to what I should decide to talk about. That was until one morning, about a couple of weeks ago, when I was just taking the top off a lightly boiled egg, when Ruth said, "Why don't you tell them about Granville?" Granville, by the way, is our next door neighbour. And he said he was very interested in joining the walking club. But what he wanted before signing up was a general rundown of our hill walking Sunday. So after a little thought, this is what I roughly came up with. I was surprised he was considering joining when he could see the way I ended up at the end of every walk. Anyway, this is roughly what I've came up with. I hope you won't think that I've over-glamorised it. I said it is probably the only walking club that requires that you get up at 4 AM in the morning. You will struggle to find enough strength to climb into your Gore-Tex before tiptoeing down the stairs in the hope that you don't wake your Afghan. This should just leave you enough time for a small bowl of crunchy nuts before spending 15 minutes de-icing the car in order to get to Sainsbury's car park for 5:45. You will drag yourself onto the couch only to find it is already 2/3 full of people who are in a similar or an even worse state than you're in. You will collapse into the first available seat and you will immediately go into a deep sleep. You will be woken up in approximately an hour's time by the person sitting directly behind you, who will have just removed most of your ear with a clipboard. This is in order that you may sign up to do exactly the same thing the following month. Now, for Ken and I, signing up is absolutely essential, because if we don't, there is a strong possibility we may never live long enough to get back on the couch. After a further 2.5 hours, we will arrive in the middle of nowhere, when after finding your kit, you will spend the next 2 hours walking one behind the other, ankle deep in mud and rain, till our leader, who wishes to remain nameless, will suddenly have a stroke of genius and decides it would be a great idea to climb a mountain. So after a long consultation with his seaweed, he finally throws a left and up we go. By the time we have reached 1/3 of the way up, the wind will have gone from light to gale force, and the rain from vertical to horizontal. And every creature that God ever made will be on its way down. With, of course, one exception, the Hill Walking Club, who are on the way up. We finally make it to the top, where it will be so misty, the only thing you are able to distinguish are the buttocks of the person in front of you. Now, whatever you do, you must never lose sight of these, because from now on, your very existence will depend upon it. Now, our leader, who still wishes to remain nameless, although we can see this huge fellow at the front, bobbing about, has yet another brainstorm and decided it'd be a great idea to throw in a few ridges. So for the next 2 hours, we are up and down like a fiddler's elbow, till when even he can't stand it a moment longer. After further consultation with the seaweed, throw this left and down we come. We finally make it back to Shangri-La, or the coach as it is sometimes referred to as, where you will spend the next 10 minutes queuing up to buy an out-of-date tin of beer and a bag of cheesy biscuits reduced to crumbs. You will be helped back on the couch by the person behind who has not got the faintest idea who you are, but they recognise the buttocks. In fact, by now they will know considerably more about yours than they do about their own. You will finally make it back to your seat where you will collapse into a coma. After approximately 3.5 hours, you will be woken up in Sainsbury's car park by Colin shouting everybody off and bring out your dead. You will spend the next 10 minutes finding your kit, another 10 minutes finding your car, another 15 minutes de-icing it. And after approximately 15 hours, you will arrive back home. You will spend most of the following week recovering and drying out your kit. And if everyone ever asks what sort of day we've had, what do we say? Fantastic. We all want locking up. Which of course brings me right back to where I started in Granville. I gave him 2 contact numbers. One was for Colin, and the other one was for the Samaritans. And since he's not sitting among us tonight, you may draw your own conclusions. But I did receive some very good news from his wife this week to say Granville is no longer suicidal and he was responding well to the treatment. So you see, this story does have a happy ending after all. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes our Hill Walking Sunday. Thank you very much. Of the 3 that I started, this is the only one that ever got finished, so I hope you approve. 40 years ago today, a young lad joined our club with a brand new pair of walking boots and a rucksack full of grub. He climbed the hills with the A-walk, and when the mist had cleared, this young lad with his brand new boots had completely disappeared. For many years we searched those hills, regardless of the cost, for he's the only lad with brand new boots this club has ever lost. But still we talk about him on our walks and in the pubs, while our treasurer has sleepless nights. He owes 40 years in subs. So let's raise a glass to our absent friend as we look toward the skies. There's no need to shed a tear, girls, because it's all a pack of lies. Thank you very, very much.